here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I got the best family, friends, and job a guy could ask for. I'm a pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are just not necessary. But until then, I'm going to do my best and do my part to cultivate a culture that's accepting, that's compassionate, and I'm going to start by donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project. They're an incredible organization. They're the #1 suicide prevention service for LGBTQ youth in America, and they're truly doing incredible things. And I'm very excited to be a part of it, to help in any way that I can, and I'm really pumped to see what the future holds.
Here was just some of the reaction to Carl Nassib's announcement yesterday. His head coach John Gruden said, quote, "I learned a long time ago what makes a man different is what makes a man great." From Cardinals defensive lineman J.J. Watt, "Good for you, Carl. Glad you feel comfortable enough to share, and hopefully someday these types of announcements will no longer be considered breaking news." His former teammate at Penn State, Saquon Barkley, tweeted, "Much respect, Britta." And Pro Football Hall of Famer Warren Moon tweeted, "Really proud of Carl Nassib, the first active football player to ever do so. I played with several guys who never were comfortable enough to go public. They were great teammates, obviously very talented." Welcome to NFL Live alongside Marcus Spears and Mina Kimes and Dan Graziano. I am Field Yates, and we'll dive right into the news that was announced late during our show yesterday. Mina, about 24 hours later, what's been your reaction for how well this news is being received around the league?
Field, it's wonderful. It's really heartening to see. And I was struck by what J.J. Watt said, because he echoed what Carl himself said in a statement, which is that he looks forward to the day when this sort of announcement is no longer needed. And, that got me thinking. I saw a lot of people responding to the announcement with the question of, well, why is this news? Well, it's news for a couple reasons. One, he is truly breaking ground, first active player to come out and to do so publicly like this. It is historic, but also it's meaningful for a lot of people. It might not be meaningful for you, whoever you are, and that's fine, but I can guarantee you there are many, many people out there who heard this news and maybe felt accepted in this sport for the first time. That is incredibly impactful. And to see Carl embraced by the community, by stars both past and present, it feels like a sea change in the NFL, like the start of something great, and it makes me really happy to see it.
I think the thing most impressive sitting here after it broke yesterday is how much of this is not about Carl Nassib. Right? He came out, but he came out in order to let his light shine for other people to feel comfortable and feel that freedom that everyone should feel about being exactly who they are. So that's the thought that I have, and it goes along with a long history in this country. There has to be groundbreakers in order to make a whole generation comfortable about who they are and in their own skin. So that's what I applaud more than anything. Carl Nassib is fine with who he is as a person. We are not up here to debate about why he did it or what should he have done it. That wasn't the reason he did it. He did it so his light would shine for a lot of other people that are afraid or uncomfortable to do this, and gave them the passage in order to say and be exactly who they are. And that's why he deserves credit.
Yeah, and not just, Mark, not just people inside the NFL either, but I mean, these guys, as you know, are such public figures, right? Like what they do and what they say and what they represent means something to people who are viewers and fans. And so look, the Trevor Project exists because of the struggles that young people have with coming out, with coming, to terms with going public with who they actually are inside. And so, it's great to see this, great to see the donation, great that the NFL just announced it's matching his donation to the Trevor Project, outstanding. But yeah, I think the most important thing is just, if there are people out there who don't think it's okay to be openly who you are, this helps with that, and it'll definitely, hopefully, make it easier for at least someone, and hopefully a lot of people.
Well, it can sometimes only take just one person to make a significant movement, and Carl Nassib seems to be primed to do exactly that. As a matter of fact, Adam Schefter recently tweeted that both yesterday and today, the top-selling jersey on Fanatics.com is Carl Nassib. So it must be great for him to know there are so many people who are behind him and supporting his decision to make what has certainly been a difficult private life more public just 24 hours ago. Pivoting to Lamar Jackson, who is entering his 4th season and recently had this to say, quote, "It's really not the off-season anymore. For us, I'll say, we've just got to keep grinding and staying in shape. People are always saying we throw short, intermediate routes and stuff like that, little 5-yard, 10-yard routes. But we had some chances last year. We hit some of them. But we're just trying to be more consistent this year." To be more precise, Lamar Jackson hit on 38% of his deep passes last season, which was 24th in the NFL, below the league average. But it wasn't for a lack of trying. 12% of Jackson's total passes went at least 20 yards downfield, the 6th highest percentage in the league last year. I mean, you had a chance to rewatch some of Lamar's deep throws last year. What stands out in watching them, and is there room for improvement for Lamar in a key part of his passing game?
Yeah, Field, it was interesting because, the deep ball has never been the greatest strength of Lamar's game, but he was better throwing the ball downfield in 2019 during his MVP season. And rewatching all of his 20-yard plus throws this morning, I was trying to identify, what might be happening, what could be the cause for why his performance dipped. It's not arm strength. He can throw it downfield. In fact, when you watch these attempts, a lot of them are overthrows. Right here against the Washington football team, he's trying to hit Hollywood Brown, who's the #1 wide receiver in the Ravens offense, and you can see he overthrows him by quite a few yards. He's open. This is the same game, and I wanted to highlight this. There's 42 seconds left in the half, so he had to go deep, try to push the ball downfield, splitting the 2 DBs. This time, Hollywood could arguably have laid out and caught it, and it's not an overthrow. That one's on Brown. And I wanted to put those side by side because I think something that stands out when you watch a lot of these overthrows is the likelihood that Lamar Jackson doesn't trust his receiving group. He doesn't attempt that many tight window throws. I think some of his inaccuracy stems from the fact that he's worried that they're not going to win at the catch point. That is not a strength of Hollywood's game. And I think it's why it's so important that for all of the speed that they do have, they augmented that group of receivers with Sammy Watkins, signing him in this offseason, drafting Rashad Bateman, who you guys know I love, out of Minnesota.
In the progression of a passing game and depend on the run game and Lamar Jackson to make these out of pocket plays, that is not going to successfully lead them in ultimately where they want to get to. So this is not only about Lamar Jackson gaining that trust with his wide receivers. This is about a coaching staff as well, putting emphasis on the passing game and allowing that run game to give them opportunities for Lamar Jackson to feel more and more comfortable as this season goes along, pushing the ball downfield. So when we get to the point of next season and the Baltimore Ravens are having success, and 1 week they rush for 295 yards and 4 touchdowns, don't get it twisted and believe that that is going to be the way that they're going to do all season long and win a Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. Evolve the passing game by concepts, by guys that Lamar trusts, but also getting enough reps and putting them in game time situations so it's not new and it's not pressure when he has to do it.
That's why I think the offseason is the biggest key to the necessary development of the Ravens offense this year. Go back to last year. Yes, Lamar Jackson was coming off of an MVP season, but he was 23, And the Ravens had plans for his further development and ascension that they really didn't have the time or the ability to put in.